help you to find your joy, because where is it? What happened to it? You know, you were born in quite a joyful state. Well, actually, you cried when you were first born because it was a bit of a shock to be out in the real world, having been in that beautiful, cozy little place. And then after that, try and remember back to being like a child when everything was quite joyful. You were quite excited, exuberant, and really interested in things. And then what happens as we get older, some of us have been around a while, we seem to lose that joy. We seem to lose that pleasure. We seem to lose that place where we can tap into that infinite joy. And so where is yours? At what point did you lose it? And what creates that loss for you? How do you stop yourself from having joy? Chances are, if you're a joyful creature and you're just enjoying this, then you'll be listening to me and thinking, oh, actually, I'm okay. My joy is brilliant. But if you don't have as much as you should have, then maybe you'd like to kind of listen in for a bit longer. I'm going to be here for probably 5 minutes. I deal with a lot of lovely, amazing business women. Business owning women is who I mainly coach and train and mentor. And when they rock up, they normally are pretty sad. They have a whole load of self-talk, which is debilitating, disabling, disempowering, dissing them. They're dissing themselves and disappointing themselves on a continual basis. They're setting targets for themselves and not achieving them. They're setting goals, intentions, and then letting themselves down. As women, we tend to serve others before we serve ourselves. It seems to be our go-to. And so if you're not serving yourself, you're doing yourself a disservice. And so here I'm encouraging you to have a think about how you can do this differently. There's a lot of times, I would imagine, in the day, certainly, maybe even hourly, maybe all the time, that you'll be talking to yourself in a way that you wouldn't talk to any other person. You're thieving your own joy. I want you to take a step back whenever you hear yourself doing that. It's my first tip for you, really, is take a step back and think, what am I saying to myself? And if I was saying this to any other person, how would they respond or react? I can tell you now, if you're calling yourselves bad names and telling yourself off or trying to beat yourself up with things to do things, that is not a joyful, empowering, or supportive way to be to yourself. So number one is stop that. Just stop that. Think about yourself as a small child who needs coaxing and nurturing and caring for, and wants to feel the joy and wonder in everything they're doing, and wonder how you can get that for yourself. You're probably wondering what this weird woman is talking about. I'll give you an example. So if you've got a to-do list, and I do a lot of work around procrastination. In fact, I've just finished a 7-day free course in procrastination with a whole load of people in a great Facebook group. But if you're continuously saying, oh God, I've got to get that done, and you've got a massive things to do list, what tends to happen is you'll block yourself because you don't know where to start, you don't know how to handle it, you don't know where to go. And then maybe you'll beat yourself up with that list and then think you're no good at your business, or you're no good at your life, or you're no good at keeping boss of your finances or in relationships. It could be any part of your life. It could be your career. You're not pleasing your team. You're not showing up to work on time. Depends what you do in the world, of course, and who you are. Not being a good sister, not being a good mother, not being a good parent, or to whoever you're parenting, not being a good grandparent, maybe, not being a good wife, friend, companion, whatever it is that you do in the world. May I suggest that you ask yourself how you can be better, rather than beat yourself up with why you're not doing it well or how bad you are at it. Ask how, if I was being the best version of myself in this place, with this thing, with this task, with this challenge, with this issue even, if I was my best version of myself and I wanted the best for everybody around me, how would I think about it? How would I proceed? What would I do? What would I believe? Who would I be when I was communicating? That way it will be a more enjoyable experience for you internally as well as externally. Because actually, if there's stuff going on and you're bashing yourself up with it, yeah, you're just being your own worst enemy too. And that's not going to be very joyful. We live our times in times of stress. And the more we stress, the more we get in distress. That's where that word comes from. And then our unconscious mind, which is what I coach people. I'm an NLP master. I know all about how that works. When we get into that stress, what happens is our whole body and everything contracts into this fight, flight, or freeze, and we do one or the other, And so which do you do first? Do you get stressed and freeze and think, oh, I'm not going to do anything? Well, apart from maybe watching reruns of old sitcoms or eating chocolate or something else that distracts you. Do you fight? Do you think, oh, I'm not putting up with this? And do you fight yourself is what you might actually be doing? Or do you just run and go for cover, maybe getting to bed, hide, go somewhere else, go for coffee with a friend and just hide, which is the same as flight. Which do you do? What's your go-to?